And so comes to an end a transfer that we watched very, very closely at warchant.com and Warchant TV. Duce Robinson, Florida State legacy, former USC wide receiver, is now with Florida State. Florida State has announced it. The signature is in-house. Duce Robinson is now a Seminole. Joining me to talk about that is warchant.com lead portal analyst, lead recruiting analyst, Michael Langston. Michael, this has been one that, again, we've had some inside intel for a little bit of time here. You got to see the visit this weekend up close, what Florida State did with Duce Robinson as they hosted him over multiple days. What did you like about how Florida State locked this one down, and what is Florida State getting in this player out of USC?
Yeah, just a massive pickup for certainly for FSU, and I like the way they just approached this whole recruitment, where it wasn't like, hey, dad's a legacy, and he went here, and I knew how much Duce loved FSU. Growing up when he was a little kid, I interviewed him once out of high school, and so I knew kind of the connection and stuff. But they didn't really focus on any of that. I think they just focused on the guy, and the fit, and just really what they're going to build around Duce. I think Thomas Castanelas came into a lot of that. Really big. He gave a big lift for them. Was on the visit with them. Almost shocked me when I saw them all get out of the SUV, and you saw Thomas with them. That he was with them from beginning to end. They made it clear both in the first, like, I get one-on-one meeting when Norvell and Gus talked to him, that, hey, we're going to air it out. We're going to get the ball to you. We're going to make sure we utilize you the ways that you want to be utilized. And I think they did the best job selling what ways they can find, and why he will excel in this kind of offense. And I just, you have to be impressed just on how they didn't really lean on, okay, your dad play here, so he's going to push you here. And I know D-Rob for a while. That was never going to happen. It was more, what is the best for Duce, and certainly they did a hell of a job selling it, and certainly on the official visit, tremendous job. I think the big takeaway, like the first time he got there, was the moment he got there, he wanted to take a picture in front of the Bowden statue. Duce did him. There wasn't like a, hey, D-Rob's like, oh yeah, you want to take a picture. It was like Duce just did it on his own. You just feel it. It felt like that set the tone, and I think overall that first meeting that happened with FSU, and just, it was really just finishing the job. And they're getting one heck of a playmaker, a guy that has a lot of catch radius, certainly really good out of routes and speed, and certainly will give you a lot of length. And he's a guy that you can see a lot of things that he does that Johnny Wilson did while he was here. So I think that's kind of the role that they kind of envision him in, and they're going to get him the ball in a number of ways as a receiver. And I think overall, I mean, a lot of people are like, it's been a crazy, portal season, but them getting the quarterback they got, I think, really helped push this to where it was. Because even when he went in the portal, I'm like, man, how are they going to sell this, to Deuce, because of what they are, or they have been. And I think overall, they did an incredible job, both Mike and just everyone on that offensive staff, and certainly just really pitching, kind of the fit, and just, it was then they just left it up to Thomas, and then Thomas took it home once he got him around, personally around him, and then I think they just sold it from there. But they're getting certainly a fortified, experienced, productive, certainly playmaker that has a lot of catch radius when you watch his game, that he's going to bring a lot, certainly to that offense, and a guy that you can build your receivers around. I've said this before, whatever receivers they get, they're going to want somebody that's productive, that can lead a lot of these young guys like LaWayne McCoy and BJ Gibson and all these guys they have that are young. You need somebody to kind of lead them to water, to the be able to drink. But I think overall that was the big deal of getting an experienced receiver. Don't think they're done. Think they'll probably add another, but I think overall, you have to say so far, even though they had a lot of great pickups, I think this was the one that I checked and said, this was a must that they had to get, in this class because they need help at that playmaker position, and I think Duce adds a lot to that.
Yeah, nearly 750 yards in his time at USC for Duce Robinson. Again, you're getting somebody who's 6'6", 230 pounds. And if he plays anything like his father would want him to play, he's going to block for you because dad is very detail oriented. Florida State needed that on the perimeter a lot this past year. They didn't get it. This is also an offense, Michael, that does feature players a little bit more. They don't rotate as much. Gus Malzahn, if he likes a guy, he sticks with him. I'm sure that was part of the pitch. And the stuff I do know, and the team side of warchant.com will have a little bit more on this specific recruitment because it hits close to home with one of our colleagues. But one thing I can tell you is that the initial pitch with Coach Norvell and Coach Malzahn about what they're going to do with Duce Robinson if he comes to Florida State, according to Dominic, his father, he's never seen Duce fired up with a recruiting pitch quite like he was when Mike Norvell and Gus Malzahn spoke to him. Not in high school, not in the portal. Something about what they said to him fired him up, and that's why they got on a plane and checked out Tallahassee. Not because dad said, hey, let's go back to my old stomping grounds, as you pointed out, Michael. It's because the pitch that Florida State made was important. And what I can also say, just again, this is your lane, Michael, but on this particular recruitment, I do have a couple of nuggets. Florida State was first. Florida State was first to reach out to him, and it was a bunch of coaches, and it was around the clock checking in. Castellanos was one of the deciding reasons, one of the big reasons why Florida State ended up going, or why Robinson ended up going in the direction of Florida State. But it was a team effort here. Many on the coaching staff, even on the defensive side, reached out to the Robinson camp to make sure they were continually checking in. And then clearly, Michael, the bond between Thomas Castellanos and Duce Robinson had a lot to do with why he chose Florida State, because he canceled that visit to Louisville. We knew that yesterday. He wasn't departing Tallahassee. He was hanging around to go to the basketball game and spend some more time on campus. And now he'll have the next year or two at Florida State. After 750 yards of production at USC, we're looking for that kind of a number in year one at Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of connections that I didn't even talk about the greeting that was there. That I've seen a lot of greetings at FSU, and they do a great job with all of them. This one felt like it hit a little different because maybe because it's more personal, where it's a family where you're having family come in, but it was really personal. It was crazy. I think Dominic texted me. It's like, that was wild, so they were very impressed of, just the way that I think from the start, to your point, Tom, first people to contact him from the moment, the chance that opened up, I think they made him a priority, and he felt like a priority. And that goes to show both with your pursuit of them, your pitch to them the first time you talk to them, and then having your future quarterback really detail and really take it home, just a relationship and connection. And as I said, with your quarterback, you need to have a quarterback that has a, kind of an open personality. You want to have some, energy from your quarterback. And I think that's what Thomas, certainly brings. And now we know that Thomas certainly is a really good recruiter. Now, hopefully that translates to more wins on the field. But I think overall it was, I agree with you. It's a complete team effort. And like I said, the biggest pickup, in my opinion, from the portal they've had, and they've got a lot of significant ones, but I just think like this was the one where I didn't feel like there was a lot of, there's options, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of options that match the ability of what Duce will bring. So I think that's why I figured this one would be a must, and they've got it done. And people wanted momentum, and I remember these videos we did before. It was like, man, it's just disastrous. It's doomsday. Everyone's like, this portal stuff stinks. I mean, there's nothing going on. And I just tell people, let the process play out. And certainly now, as we see, as things are going, they're slowly addressing close to everything they need, or getting there, or in position to getting what they want, both from the offensive line, certainly with the edge position, and then now the receiver position. I think that was the final place where they hadn't had anybody yet. Now they have somebody at receiver, where we've seen it where they've got an offensive lineman and defense lineman. Now we see the receiver position.
So this is the last thing, because everybody's always looking forward to the next thing. Well, once you get somebody, you're like, okay, that's old news. Now what? So the deadline for visits is today, Michael, and it doesn't pick back up, I believe, until New Year's Day. So at least
Correct.
there can be contact, but not on campus visits. Florida State is in the running for a certain large offensive tackle out of Ole Miss,
Yes.
and another potential offensive lineman. Just quickly, your thoughts on where Florida State stands about any more additions, maybe before the holidays, because I know there's a second offensive lineman you interviewed today that's trying to make a decision before Christmas.
Right. And I'll finish the receiver position too and tap that off. They had another visitor that was a receiver this weekend. It was a quick visit. It was like a 2-hour visit. Traylon Ray. He's a cousin of Melvin Ray. That was that I think people certainly know. He visited today. He was he was at West Virginia. Pretty productive guy. Around 300, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. A guy that certainly has always loved FSU. He told me it's likely that he takes an official visit to FSU in January. I'm assuming it'll be between that January 1st and 5th date. So that's one to kind of keep an eye on that FSU could add, because we know they want, want to grab a couple of productive receivers or just receivers in general they feel good about. So that's that. Then you have the 2 offensive linemen, Tom, that you mentioned, Micah Pettis, who visited, I want to say Friday and Saturday. He still wasn't done when I talked to him when we did the interview, but you felt like there was a little bit of momentum with FSU with kind of how the visit went. I'm not saying I'm picking him to go to FSU, but I think there's some stuff behind it where I think they feel like it went pretty well. We'll see if they can pull that one off, and then they had a few more come in. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this kid's name from Rice, but I'm going to try. It's Ethan Anawe. That's the way I was told. It was likely said. He is a massive human being. Saw him today. We interviewed him. That's another one where he visited FSU and he's like, "Hey, I'm with visits and might have a decision coming up." So I think he's certainly in there. And then if you hadn't had enough offensive linemen, here's another one. With Central Connecticut, you have right here, Perry. He came in. He's actually out of Central Connecticut. He's a guy that was the final visitor we caught up with, and he was another one where he said there's a few schools that also he checked out and looked at, but he talked about the development, and that's the one thing I heard from just about every offensive lineman is there is a connection some way about what Herb Hand does with development that these kids are liking. That I've heard that, and we've seen a bunch of offensive linemen visit. That's the one that stood out to me, Tom, of just the word development over and over of what how they like how he develops guys. So that's not something we're used to hearing about
No.
offensive linemen,
No.
but heard that a lot with a lot of these guys. Now, which ones they get, I don't know. Certainly I would put Pettis and Anawe up there, both of guys that they certainly covet. Norvell was out there really exuberant about when they got there, and those big time meeting. And then the intriguing one is the Perry kid, where he's more of a pure tackle. When you watch him, his size, just he fits everything you're looking for. Now, is he probably as high as up as those guys? Probably not, but I think he's a guy that they certainly like. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have brought him in. But there's been a lot of work of FSU working on him. So I think overall, you kind of sense what the most important thing is to this staff, which is the offensive line. And then you also see places that they really wanted to hit on, which is the edge position. They got a couple of guys already. I think you'll probably see a couple more, in the either the January window or the spring window. But I think overall, a tremendous weekend for FSU when you consider those 3 commitments that we did the other day as I was interviewing with nearby FSU with Tom, and then also today certainly with Duce, and then just really adding on to their offensive line with Adrian Medley and those other guys. I think it's really, you feel like it's starting to piece together, and dare I say that word momentum, that they're actually building some that seems to be sustainable.
Yeah, it seems like you got a fair fighting chance. And you're
Yeah.
right to hit on it, Michael, that the word development is something that Noles fans have been begging for. Perhaps in the holiday spirit, football Santa is giving everybody a little bit of development on the offensive line. Here's a gift for you from us at the Warchant.com On3 Network. The 150 special is available to you if you've not signed up at Warchant.com. That momentum that Michael speaks of will continue. Well, you can follow it every day at Warchant.com on the Premium Recruiting Board. Again, the land of the Premium Recruiting Board. That's where Michael operates for both the portal and the 2026 recruiting class. There were some visitors on campus this weekend for the 26 class and the 27 class. All of that information available on the PRB. It's $1 for 7 days of access, followed by half off an annual subscription. All available today at warchant.com. And if you're already a member, remember to sign up and upgrade for the ad-free tier, which is amazing because that upgrade will net you a $20 gift card to Garnet and Gold, plus 15% off all your Garnet and Gold purchases. Lots of ways to get involved on warchant.com at a great, great rate. It's always going to be free here on Warchant TV. So hit the like button underneath the video. Subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. And be safe if you're out traveling, wherever you are throughout the country, on the roads, through the air. Take extra time. There's going to be people who are angry in security lines and people angry on the roads. We hope you have a safe holiday season out there. And maybe your Christmas tree is a little bit brighter with this news tonight. Michael, if I don't speak to you before the holidays, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will before Christmas. But if not, wishing you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and then also good luck to your Cowboys tonight.
They need all the help they can get because they stink. But happy holidays to everybody. I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas. We're near the dead part, so I'm probably going to finally do some Christmas shopping probably the next day. Obviously, if anything breaks, we'll have it. But we appreciate you guys. Always hit the like button, and Tom illustrated, man, that deal is about as good as it gets. And you need some late Christmas shopping, that's the place to go. That's the deal you want. We appreciate all you guys. Certainly, it's been a fun weekend. This is getting to be a lot of fun. If you're wondering, yes, recruiting's getting to be a little fun again. So hopefully they can keep the juice going. But we appreciate you, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
You think Michael's kidding? Last year we did record a video where he was in the parking lot of the mall because there was breaking news. So we will be with you. Make sure, yes, subscribe to the channel. We'll be on your home screen with all the breaking news. Michael, thank you for your time as always, my brother.
You got it.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next time right here on Warchant TV.